Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Black Cats TV. We're back this time previewing our match against Bournemouth. I just want to get in nice and early. No live stream on the channel this week. And why is that, Mike?
Because I'm going to the game.
Yay!
Yeah.
First game since when?
Since a while. I can't even remember. But the last time I was at the stadium was for my charity walk.
It was, yeah.
So, I missed last season. So it would have been the season before.
Or a year and 18 months, maybe, yeah. So,
something like that.
Long time. So, yeah, if we lose, Mike's the reason why. That's the record. I feel like me when I do the live streams on the channel, Sunderland lose. So if you go to the game, that's the reason why we've lost. Just getting in nice and early.
I'm sure I have that much influence.
You do. This week
I'm confident.
Yeah, well, you should be. This week we hit 3,000 subscribers, which is mental. So thank you very much for doing that. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe now and like the video. Really does help us out. Just before we start talking about Bournemouth. Bournemouth doing all right. They're up there with us for a while, and then they've tailed off because we're mint and they're not as mint. I think is probably the best way of saying it. What do you think of Bournemouth at the minute?
That's the same about anybody who's eighth and below right now.
Absolutely, seventh best team in England.
It's a difficult one, Bournemouth, because we don't have loads and loads of history with them. Like if you do, you look at the records between clubs, often we're looking like hundreds of games as comparison. I think we've played them a total of 10 times, is it? Yeah, 10. There you go. You've got it on screen. Look at that. He's prepared. Yeah, you've got it on screen 10 times. And we have got a better win record against them, but not so much the last game. But again, not faced them for 6 years. No, what I mean about more than that. 8 years. Not faced them for 8 years.
Well, they've been in the Premier League and the Championship within that time, and we've obviously been suffering, and rotting, what have you. But I will say we played them 4 times in the last sort of, recent Premier League seasons, 2015, 2016, 16 and 17. Before that, we didn't play them since 1990, the year I was born. I know I look 50, but I'm only 35. But the big one that everyone seems to remember was the last game, the 2-1 win in November, where I just put it up on screen there. Our team. Do you want to take us through that team there, Mike, on screen?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So Pickford, Drillivoce, Jones, Corney. I loved Corney. Van Aanholt, McNair, and Dong, Pina, Anichebe, Defoe, and Watmore. What a team.
Yeah. Exactly. What a team. Look who came off the bench as well. Jason Denayer, Lyndon Gooch, and Donald Love, eh?
Donald Love, super sub.
Yeah, I think that's Anichebe's first goal for us, where he turned his man and smashed it in the top corner. I think Pickford was on absolute fire in that game. And then we got a penalty towards the end, which Defoe put in. Our first win under David Moyes that game was in November. Of course, Stephen Pienaar got a red card in that game as well, and we still won. So, not too bad for us, really. But yeah, there's not much in terms of history. 5 wins, but the most recent one being, like you said, 9 years ago. So should we have a look at how they've been doing so far this season?
Yeah, they just got trounced, didn't they, by Villa 4-0?
Yes, that was their game before the last one. So they drew with West Ham the other day, but they were 2-0 down against West Ham. Could have won 3-2 in the end, but they did draw 2-2. But yes, before that was a 4-0 drubbing away at Aston Villa. But Aston Villa, since the Sunderland game, have found their form. Remember when they came to the stadium, they hadn't scored a goal, they hadn't won a game or anything. And then since they've played us, they've sort of found a bit of form. So they've turned it around. Going to Man City and losing 3-1, is to be expected if you're not one of the bigger sides, or Sunderland, I suppose, in their history against Man City in the Premier League. And, I don't think they've done too badly. They've done really well this season, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, they're not terrible, but they worry me because they're a bit like Fulham. If you look at their stats from that last West Ham game, it was 2-2. West Ham had 3 shots with 2 on target, giving them 2 goals. Bournemouth had 21 shots, 8 on target. And I hate when we play teams like that will just constantly pound. If we sit back and let them put pressure on, it can be dangerous. I know they've got Have they got players out? They've got Semenyo. Is he
Menyo
out?
might be back. They were saying he's gone to
Right.
yellow on fantasy football, so he might be back. Is what we're saying, which is a big deal.
Based on fantasy football.
Yeah. But because that just on the screen as well, there we've put on the goal scorers and the top assisters. So Semenyo has already got 9 goal contributions this season. Games with 6 goals and 3 assists there. Krupi, I think, got a hat trick in one game. So even though he says 4 goals, one of those games was a hat trick. So the other 8, he's got 1. Tavernier, of course, penalty taker for them as well, has got 3. Tyler Adams, formerly of Leeds, and everyone else. Evan Nielsen and Clivert, they're strikers, I will say.
They got Dork, didn't they? We were looking at Ben Dork, weren't we?
Yes, because he was at Middlesbrough in the previous season. But yes, they've got him. But he's only played 4 games. He's not been, I don't know if he's injured or anything like that there. But you can see there that, the centre-back, Senesi, has got 3 assists this season. So I wonder if that's like a set pieces, flick-ons maybe, if they've got a
it
throw
could be
in
a
or
long,
corner.
Yeah, it could be a long throw, anything like that. We're not sure, are we? So it's I think I'm confident because they're coming up to the Fortress of Light, and I think we seem to be bouncing back after losses this season so far. So I'm hoping we continue that trend, and Labrie doesn't go ultra frigging defensive.
He goes rah. But as well as that, even if we go 1-0 down, which is unlikely, but even if we do, we know that Nordy's going to take that personally, and I'm not okay with this. And then continue to have a great game, have a great game, have a great game, have a great game. I just like those memes.
Took ages to put them infographics together.
Yeah, exactly. We did all of that.
Team of experts.
More importantly, how do you think we're going to play? Because there's a lot of. Do we stick with the back 5? Do we go to a 4? Because there's been some games.
I want to see back to a similar sort of 4-5-1 or 4-3-3 that we were doing before. More attacking, just more positive attacking formation. I'm okay with doing 5 at the back for these away games. Salvaging points against teams like Arsenal is brilliant, and stuff like that. So when you're playing the really big teams or when you're playing away from home, I'm okay with him doing that. At home against a team we should be beating, I want to see us go for it. I want to see an attacking formation.
Absolutely. And then if we compare it to 2 of the previous games, so if we look at Fulham's lineup we played against Fulham, you obviously went with a back 5 and then the 4 in the midfield, and then Isidore quite isolated up top. Traore was, of course, a lot further forward than that graphic would suggest with that one. But we, like you said, we were not playing for a point, but we were playing to be difficult to beat and grind out the.
But it invites that pressure.
Well, it invited 24 shots, I think they had, and
taking. We said in the midweek Mackems, taking Traore and Isidore off during that game was the only people that were keeping that pressure at their side of the pitch
because of the high press that we were doing. But if you go back to our Wolves game at home, which feels like forever ago now, because we beat Chelsea after that as well, that was the lineup we went with then. Now, of course, Alderete's been out injured pretty much since that game, of course, apart from when he's flooring Americans on international duty. But that was the sort of team we went to. Now, you can interpret that as a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 because Rigg was a bit more central in the midfield rather than being an out-and-out number 10 like he's playing there. Is that
Rigg and Isidore work well as well? Yeah. Rigg and Isidore work well together.
Well, is that what you'd want to see, a similar lineup and formation to that?
Similar to that. Potentially Rigg maybe not starting because he's not had much game time. Maybe coming off the bench, but I would stick Lafille in the middle of that and stick Talby out on that left.
That's fair enough. And then, sort of not go with the 2-man midfield that Labrie's been doing for quite a few games because of the 5 mainly. Yeah,
but I mean, our team's very good this season at covering. So, like, Nordy goes for a wander often. Ronaldo goes for a wander often, and that midfield fills in well. So a 3 in midfield like that, it doesn't matter if it's Sadiki making a run, Xhaka making a run, or Lafille. We've always got really good cover. So I think having a more dynamic midfield with the type of team we have now, having a 5 in midfield gives us a really good attacking options, but also solid defensive options. When you drop it to the 5 at the back, your midfield's still quite solid, but you're losing a lot up front, and that's why we're not getting them opportunities to score.
Well, exactly.
So I would have it fluid five in the midfield throughout this entire season, to be fair.
That's it. I think he'll switch back to a 4 just to sort of see what we can do at home. Similar to that, but of course, I think you will see maybe Hume drop out. I know Hume's at left back there, but and have Reynildo obviously take his rightful position at left back there. And I think the rest will kind of pick themselves. There is options that you could see Lefay in the middle and Talby out on the left as well. I would like to see Brobby start over Isidore, which is mental for me to say.
But I was literally going to say the same thing. I'd love to see Brobby get a start to see what he can do. Isidore, we know Isidore can come off the bench with 20 minutes to go and score a goal.
Yeah, and I think that he has been fantastic defensive duties and he's been fantastic at high press. Let's see him do that when the other teams are tired at 65 minutes and come on fresh-legged and give it a go. Might not necessarily get a goal for it, but he's going to put defences under pressure towards the end of the game, especially if they've just been, and we use Brobby properly, and they've just been battered and bullied for an hour.
Yeah.
That's how I would see it at the minute, which sounds sacrilegious coming from me who loves Isidore and has been, all for him. But
championing him since the start.
I'm just trying to give it options for this game, and I don't want us to stick with
He hates Meander. He just hates
Meander. I hate Sam Fender. No, it's just I just don't see we're not getting the service to the strikers, so it's hard for me to say, well, just take Isidore out, put Meander in, and it'll work. Do you know what I mean? That's the bit. Or just take him out and it'll work. It's a bit like no, they're all different. Isidore is contributing in other ways at the minute. Now we need Brobby to contribute in holding the ball up, bullying centre halves. He's not going to be the one that's chasing down the defenders doing a high press. So he's going to have to give us something different, of course, within that one, which is where I think you will still see Traore play because of his high press that might be able to at least cover some of Brobby's as well. But that's just me. We did do our predictions on midweek Mackems. You went very conservative for yourself. You went 3-1, exactly, yeah. And I went for a 2-1, which will piss me off royally if we're 2-1 up and then in the 90th minute we score a needless third. A bit like West Ham, the opening day of the season, by the way, where I had 2-0 and you had 3-0. And Isidore ran forward and was like, lol, 3-0. And you're like, brilliant, Mike's on the lead. Because of our leaderboard, which I still haven't updated from Arsenal. I think Johnny Cool, who was at the bottom, is actually on 2 points now because he got 2-2 with Arsenal. And Lee, who's in 9th there, who was our winner last season, is actually also on 2 because I believe you said in the live stream that he said 2-2 with Arsenal as well.
I think so, yeah.
So I need to update that. But that is the leaderboard at the moment with absolutely, feels like everybody but me on the board at the moment. I suppose Wayne's not on it yet either. So maybe I'll join it on like the last game in May, and I'll just be like, I'm on the board. That's the main thing.
It's got to be more positive like me. It's got to be more positive.
What it means is if you hear my prediction, which I've said 2-1, don't pick 2-1. It ain't going to happen, basically. It ain't going to go that way. But Mike, so no live stream. Could we tempt you into a little vlog, maybe?
I'll do a little match day experience vlog because it's a rare opportunity for me to get up that neck of the woods. So I'll be filming a lot of stuff, and I'm sure we'll splurge something together. And I'll get it uploaded at some point. But one thing I want to talk about this game quickly before we end though is the vicious rumours that it's the same referee as we had against Everton.
Oh no! I think that wasn't that the Fulham one. Let's have a look here. So looking it up, I think the referee was Bramall. For the Everton game, we should have known with a name like Bramall that he was a Sheffield United fan and sticking it to us. But no, the referee for this game is Robinson, so it's not the same referee.
So well, Michael Bowers give me bum information during the midweek.
Exactly. Don't listen to Michael Bowers, but do listen to him on Midweek Mackems now on YouTube and Spotify. But just turn off the bits with Michael Bowers because he lies apparently.
He doesn't lie.
He does not lie, Michael. We love our Michael dearly. Should be all right. I think the Labrie is doing his press conference right now, and he said there is no new injury concerns at this point with our team. He didn't mention Mundell so far. Looking at it here, let me just read you the quote. Rotation for this week with 3 games. Labrie naturally, organically, it will happen for sure. I've had this conversation with the players and I told them that because we performed well and consistency is key for a new squad, it's normal to keep the 11. Now with many games in a row in a short period, organically it will happen and you will have your chances. Get ready. They are training well.
I wonder if we'll see the likes of some of the more benched players starting.
Adingra maybe? Not really.
Or 9.
He's only yeah, we have to see it at some point. He's only had 163 minutes of Dingo so far this season. So yeah. Another thing at the Stadium of Light, just before we finish though, you won't see it from your seat because you're sort of underneath it here. But of course, the big new fancy lettering up on the east stand. So if you're just off to the which side am I doing it? That side of the picture, you're about here compared to where that picture is. So you might have to walk around a bit if you want to get a lovely snapshot of it there. But everyone check that out on the weekend. So you've gone 3-1. I've gone 2-1. Get your predictions in the chat because this in the comments, sorry, because this is the only place we're going to be seeing them. We won't be doing a live stream as we've said. So get them in this one. We'll add you to the leaderboard if you get it right. Don't pick 2-1 because you'll be the same as me and you won't win. It's probably the best way of saying it. Mike, do you want to say your goodbyes then?
Yeah, thanks for everyone that's tuned in and got us up to that 3,000 mark, which has been really awesome. Can't wait to see that grow even further as we grow as a team and head into Europe at the end of the season. So follow us along for that journey. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, all that wonderful stuff. And if you go into the Bournemouth game and you see me there, by all means, come up, say hello, give us a wave, and maybe get you on camera as well.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So we'll see you all in the next video. Take care and goodbye now.